another video on the Mecha segment of my channel, which will be about super real robots. When it comes to the genre of giant robots, we do have a lot of classifications and points about it. So it wasn't like that at first. At first we had a lot of different concepts, but most of it was bordering into the fantastic, into the more crazy stuff like alien invasion or something like radiation monsters and what the hell happened, and someone decided to use either some alien technology or some mysterious energy sources to combat said threats, and there was a single giant heroic robot or a few which could uh, go against this threat. That's what we call super robots, and this is the root of, especially in Japan, the robot culture in Japan. And it was kind of interesting to see what concepts people had about these giant robots back in the time. It sprung a lot with the rebuild of Japan after World War II and so on. So the visual menace represented all the grief and all the trouble of the reconstruction through technology, and this technology was represented by the Mecha and the giant robots they had built. But then it came around 1979 with Gundam, where they tried to bring more of an adult tone to the Gundam genre, and trying to create a more war-bent story between humans. And while a lot of the aliens in previous Super Robot shows had were very humanoid, uh, or look at humans, they were still like aliens, so that's okay. That was kind of like, it's okay to kill monsters, it's okay to kill aliens, they're not human. So it's kind of like a message for kids, like if we go to show you heroes, or if we go to show you violence, it's not like you go out there and punch your little kid friend. And I do understand why they see that, even though I think we human beings are probably the most vile race. I mean, it's hard to fathom, to imagine more a race more capable of evil than ourselves. And I guess that's where the real robot genre started with, like, in Gundam you have like the representation of Hitler with the clear reference when the Wenzabi talks to his son Girin and compares him straight out to Hitler, so we can quite see how strong they were pointing things out. Uh, that's one thing we do have in the real world genre. It's more like war between humans, and then see war against something else. And when I say something else, I mean really mean it. Like there are dinosaurs and crazy magma people and stuff in Super Robots. So yeah. I do like Super Robots for their fantasy and for how the robots tend to be heavier. I think for as odd as it seems, the idea of heavier and slower to me seems more realistic than the ninja-like movements. I talked about that in my last video on this segment. To me, robot moving too fast on its joints, and I don't mean like rocket powered or sliding on wheels like the ATs from Bottoms. I mean the actual punching fast or moving around with a lightsaber like a Jedi. To me, this sounds very unrealistic. But Gundam didn't start the way we see like in Gundam Double O with the whole Transam thing zapping everywhere. Arc 78 was quite nimble and quite mobile, but not so much yet back then. So yeah, we have the first Gundam, and it kinda was a blunder because, well, Sunrise tried to sell it to kids, and the whole mature concept of war combined to the super robot genre was kind of like it didn't cater enough to kids. It brought the attention of more mature audiences, but it was not there yet. So years later, they released a movie compilation of the series for uh, in theaters, and that was a boom. That was what brought. Sure, Tomino's book helped it out. I read the book. It's awesome. It's like what Gundam should have been. It's like true science fiction, like grounded information. Uh, it has some really dark moments. So you see, that's some heavy stuff, and that's how they truly wanted it to be. But again, let's sell toys to kids, and for some reason Gundam kind of cycles into that, like they take a step forward and then no, let's make it a bit more kiddie, let's make it a bit more shonen. And yeah, I prefer my real robots to go more along the bottoms of Fullmetal Panic way, when it goes more gritty with smaller mecha and so on. But Gundam has hit the more mature spot in other productions, and I will cite things like uh, Gundam War in the Pocket or 8MS Team, or even Iron-Blooded Orphans with the whole the way they treat actual current world problems like child labor and stuff like that. So that can be done with Gundam, but we have a lot of offspring from Gundam which set more in the real robot genre than what Gundam set is more like an in-between between real robot and super robot. Like they still cater to the super robot roots even to this day a lot. So it can be seen most prominently in Gundam, but you can see it everywhere. From the Gundams have like the three primary colors, like Combattler V, Voltes V had between or before them, or like Titan 3 and other colorful robots. Whereas, say, in the book, they describe the Gundam as being pure white and the G3 as being gray. So you can see like this would be the realistic version of things, like the Gundams would be something more real, something more like well, a tank or a jet, which they will paint more into either the army color they have or some kind of camouflage. Uh, it's for you or to decide which you like more. If you or if you like both, and which shows are more prominent on each side. But yeah, as far as I can tell, there are key differences besides the core conflict between some humans and some other race, or human to human conflicts. Some usual differences are like usually super robots have some weird or strange energy type thing, and sometimes it even can be the pilot's courage or determination, like in Galwaygar or Gurren Lagann, or and whilst for real robots, if they have unlimited energy, it's nuclear and it will usually blow up pretty bad. You can see that like in 8MS Team or some other Gundam shows where the nuclear explosion of a Gundam or mobile suit can cause a hole somewhere or kill people, etc. So it's either too dangerous or it's limited to batteries or some kind of fuel like photons. Or Gundam Seed has the batteries stuff. Elgheim had solar batteries, so you can see all this kind of interesting stuff going on with the genre as well. So yeah, when it comes to Gundam being the real robot, it flourished into other series, and we have like the concept of smaller robots. So Gundam was already smaller than most super robots, so the tendency is that robots get smaller. The fun thing is that a lot of real robots tend to be more nimble and agile, which I think works backwards, as I said before. To me, real robots would be slower than something like powered by extraterrestrial energy source, because when you put alien tech into it, things can be whatever you have, but when you think things built by humans, even if you project a future, you gotta project a future like linearly, so something more realistic will be more like a walking tank. So yeah, I think the most realistic mecha ever are the ATs from Bottoms, and they're pretty cool. And second goes to Full Metal Panic stuff. I think Full Metal Panic mechs could be a little bit bulkier to be a bit more realistic, but I do like their compromise between being practical and being cool. So to summarize this up, between there is also the weapons, with a bit of a difference. Like super robots tend to rely a lot on built-in weapons, or weapons that they can store on their body, and they are full of tricks, kind of like Iron Man or Batman, where you have like things sprung out from their bodies, like they have a beam from their belly or their chest, or they pull weapons from their own bodies, like Voltes V, a sword, or they get their tomahawks from Getter, which come from the shoulder. And another cool thing is, this can be kind of cool, is that they tend to fight with their fists a lot. That's pretty cool. In modern iterations of super robots, it can get quite violent, especially because they are mostly punching monsters, so there's no like, oh, they are punching a human. Yeah, there's Armageddon, but that's another thing. Whereas if real robots, it's most like the robot is a soldier body or armor, and they usually pick rifles or swords or shields. And it took a while for real robots to start sporting uh, building weapons like the sabers from Gundam F91, or something like the shoulder cannons on a lot of Mecha, which I really like, the concept shoulder cannons. And we could see that the Western culture have a lot of real robots in Battletech too. So with a lot of building body weapons. I like the concept. I just think they could improve a bit on the looks of the mechs on BattleTech. Uh, but that's my personal view. I like them. I don't like when things are too allegoric, like the feathered wings on Wing Zero Custom, but I also don't like when they lose too much of the human shape, I guess, in the mecha. As I said, Fullmetal Panic does things really well, Bottoms as well. So, to complement the genre, super robots are mostly notable for Mazinger, Getter Robo, Combatler V, Daimos, Gurren Lagann, the Yusha series like Gal Gaigar mostly, but there is Mighty Gain, and I love God and Air too. God and Air has a lot of fan service, but it's awesome. It's really cool. And for the real robot genre, we obviously got anything Gundam, albeit as I said, they don't. We consider them more like a step between both subgenres. And we have Fullmetal Panic, we have Bottoms, we kind of have Macross in there too. Macross drinks a lot from the super robot with the aliens conflict, and we have things like Gazaraki, Code Geass, and many other animations which sprung from there. I can think like um, brother complex, buddy complex, yeah, it's kind of like there. And Yeah, we have mostly Gundam in there, but there is Algaim too. Algaim is awesome. I love Algaim. And Zabongo can be mostly considered a real robot too. So I love the someone comment on YouTube videos that Zabongo is not real nor super. It's a fucking cowboy robot, and I like that a lot. It's like whoa, it's an amazing cowboy robot. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and in the next video I will see if I can bring something more practical, maybe a game, maybe an animation, we shall see. Please leave your comments, give me suggestions, tell me what you want to see in this segment of the channel, ask questions, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, see you again, bye bye.